Okay, hi everybody, welcome. We're just getting all situated over here, Corbin and I. We're going to talk about today's page. Okay, let's get things happening. There we go. All right. Hi, buddy. Saying hi to everybody. I don't know what he's doing, but we're having fun, and that's the main thing that counts, right? Okay. I don't know what he was saying to you there, but looked really intense. Okay, so we're going to get cracking on today's thing. I've got the event coming up on the weekend, and I've got some other stuff on the go right now. In addition to doing our one pages, and we're having a lot of fun, but we're very busy. Yesterday, I don't know what overtook me, but I dusted all my bookshelves. Why did I do that? Anyway, it swallowed up a good part of the afternoon. So yeah, but at least it's done. You know what I mean? Like I got it cleaned up, and it feels good. The whole thing about having books and having something that isn't controlled information, like it's not. That's what I find about the internet, is that you have to search for things, and if you're not in the algorithm, you have a harder time finding things. And with books, I mean, you've always got this information that's never going to be. It's never going to be able to be manipulated or edited or remitted, and because it's there, it's in print, it's in tactile form, and maybe in future copies they'll change things, but in older copies, like I've got 2 copies of one creator that made a substantial change in their life, and then so the book, which is the exact same book except for the subject matter, the story matter at the beginning of it, that's the only thing that's changed. And I've got both copies in that book because I think it's really the most clear and obvious instance in my life that I've ever seen that. And so that's the only reason that I did that. Also because I really, really enjoyed this artist's work. But having to sit down and dust all the books just kind of reminds you that, well, if you've got these things, it's important that we take care of them. So, Corbin, by the way, no help. Anyways, I am Miriam. Welcome aboard. And Miriam and I were having a chat. Miriam loves a good hat conspiracy. Miriam loves a good hat conspiracy. I like that a lot. The idea that the hats are talking is just fantastic. But this is a suggestion that I picked it off the top of the pile. This is one of the convention suggestions from when we did London Comic Con in September. Looks like you're saying something important. I guess. I don't know. So we're gonna get crack-a-lacking on that today, and I'm gonna work on jelly plated paper, and we're gonna work mixed media on top. Right? Right. Corbin agrees. Okay. So is it crazy to do all these the dusting? Well, just because initially it's like you just realize what a daunting task it is, I think, Miriam. But it's important we do that. Corbin needs to get off his butt and pitch in. Did you hear that? What is? Oh, no, he's too cute. This is the cute play. That doesn't help artistically. Oh well. Okay. So welcome aboard, Paul. Good to see you, buddy. Okay. Do you have anything else you want to say? You're going for now? Okay, see you later. I don't know. He does his own thing. Okay, so yeah, I've grabbed a random piece of paper, and are you going to help, or are you just going to climb in? Okay, so we'll get cracking on that. I think I have increased the focus situation here in the studio. I got a burn mark in my one camera, and which is one of the principles about why we really need to replace it. But we're doing our best. At least our focus is clear. I felt a real problem yesterday when I was doing details like like this, and you can see now it's going to granulate because it's little tiny micro dots, right? But at least you can see, some of the more delicate bits of information that are being put down. And unfortunately, the old camera, kaput. Kaput, Corbin, kaput. It's a German word. It means, I ain't having it no more. That's the official translation. Okay. All right. So, Corbin, what are you going to do today? He's going to sit there, I guess. Okay, let's get some Posca paints out, and maybe some watercolor. Let's pull some watercolors out, and let's get our really serious pen. Whee! Isn't that fun? Oh, come on, Nelly. Anyways, which pen are you going to use? No, this he's trying to bite my Canadian pencil, which has a Canadian flag eraser on the bottom of it. So, I guess it's a maple leaf. I don't know why I call it. Stop. Okay, that's in your face. Clearly, that's what your upset is. Okay, finishing up my projects from the stream and listening. Hi, Aditi. Welcome aboard. Oh, there we go, Paul. Cat put. If you get a chance, check out Dee stream from this morning. It was a lot of fun. She pulled 2 pages out of a coloring book and decided to do one in pan pastels and one in alcohol-based markers. So I'm looking forward to seeing those posted over the next couple of days. Also, I have discovered that you can't take normal pastels and smash them with a hammer into a muffin tin, muffin pan. It doesn't work that way. That's not how it works. These pan pastels are a whole unique thing. If you want to find out how and why, tune into DD's stream this morning, where there's in-depth questions. Like Miriam even asked, "What's the chemical constitution," or something like that, of the pan pastels? So you'll find out things. You'll find out things. Okay, I'm working and listening, says Paul. Let's switch frames. What am I doing? I do this every day. Leave it on the wrong side of the room. Okay, pan pastels are unique. You want to talk about unique? That guy, right there. Huh? Eventually, he's just going to have his own stream, and he's going to kick me right off this thing. Okay, so today's suggestion is from someone named Elizabeth at the London Comic Con from September. Her suggestion was, everyone wears hats, and the hats talk and plot. You're not wearing a hat. Whew. Anyways, okay, so let's, I've got this crazy piece of jelly-plated paper that I've pulled up, and I'm just trying to make that straight. I always work like this, so let's tilt it so that it, yeah, buddy, looks square. What? We did it. We did it, team. Uh-oh, everybody behave. Jim Luan's here, everybody. Hi, Jim. Welcome aboard. And hi, Pixie Cora. Thanks for the follow today. That was really nice. Yeah, appreciate you being in the mix here and jumping in with us. It's a lot of fun. Hat conspiration, Daisy. It's the first thing that Miriam said today during the stream is, love me a good hat conspiracy. Which is so great. Yeah, everybody's saying hi to Pixie. Okay, so we've got this piece of jelly-plated paper. Now, it's rather unsuccessful jelly plating, which is usually the case with me. I get transference of some images, but not a lot, right? And so with that, there's a liberation for me because I'm not trapped in having to utilize whatever the intentional image was that I put down. What it opens up for me is the opportunity to say, I can use this cool modulated surface in whatever way I want in order to tell the story. And it's kind of nice. I appreciate that, and I like that opportunity because then I'm not sort of stuck in with, here's how things are and this is what I have to do. And, so it's good. It's good in that regard. But clearly I was trying to bring down a, what do you call this? A a diving suit. It's a diving suit, and it clearly did not turn out. You can even see deep sea diver, the words that are filled here on the side as well. So, it's all right. Chris, have you been practicing your bodyguard line over and over? Be the best mobster that you can be. Oh my gosh, Jim, I recorded it and didn't send it to you. I'll send it to you this afternoon. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, I apologize. I sat down last night and I recorded a couple and different versions of it. And then I went, okay, good, that's done. And for whatever reason, I turned off everything and went to bed rather than just simply sending them to you right away. I don't know why, but that's what I did. So if anybody gets a chance, check out Jim Luhan's work on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Jim is animating a complete motion picture by himself. And I'm a big fan of Jim's work. And I got a number of his animations that I was sent. I was so excited. And I've sat down and watched all of them. They're just great. It's one of those things where when you meet talented people, and this is sort of about the topic of today, about sharing the artistic journey, because we're all learning new things. And one of the great gifts about this sort of community, and most specifically this community specifically this community, is that there's so many talented people that share their time and their space and their creativity with one another. But it's done so in a way that I haven't found anywhere else, where there's no, coveting and, keeping all the secrets. These are my secrets. This is what I do. There's none of that. I have yet to find that amongst the people that I've been meeting here online. And I'm really appreciative of that. And there's no, of course, I'm the best person that does this. But at the same time, there's easy recognition by all these other people in this larger community that are going, that person's very proficient at that. And of course, there's always some people that they're proficient at that and that and that, and they're proficient at this. And, and at the same time, everybody's honestly sharing their talents and sharing their techniques with one another. If you're one of those people, big old pat on the back to yourselves, because if you know that you're sharing your stuff and you're doing so willingly, good for you, because I've learned so many things since this last year, 2 years, I guess, of going online and looking up things and watching things and engaging with people. Only really the last year of truly interacting and engaging and stuff like that. And so it's great. It's absolutely fantastic that you're all doing that, and I appreciate it very much. And I know that others do, but celebrate you. What meager things I'm able to do, I try to. There's no massive secrets here, so it's just me figuring out things along the way, as I like to call it, throwing spaghetti at the wall. So if you're doing whatever it is that you're doing specifically, and you're able to share that with others and embrace them if they want to jump in on that artistic journey similar to what you're doing, awesome. It can only make us all grow stronger, grow better. Can I put these back now without you biting at them? So this is an exciting day, folks. I don't know if I can get her in here. Can you see her? Just right there. Baby's here too. Baby. Hi, that's Baby. That's Corbin. Okay. Exciting. They do exist together. They're usually in different places. Okay, Jim says Chris will win one Oscar at least. Oh, yeah. You share as well. It's appreciated. Oh, that's very nice, you Didi. Recording the rest of Malia's lines tonight. She awesomely plays Brandy Fungus. Nice. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Jim's new Full Fungus. That's what the title is, the Full Fungus, the new film in its completion, because real work, real effort. There's certain kinds of creators that I've liked in animation for years, and you know, they tend to be the individual voices. They tend to be the authentic and unique and original creators, and they have their very specific stylized approach, and they have their very, story type to tell, and getting a chance to meet people and chat with them and to witness their continuance is fantastic. I don't know. I always liked weird animators like Bill Plimpton and Ralph Bakshi and now this Jim Luhan guy. Anyhow, Corbin's saying, "Baby, who?" Yeah, she's already settling down to go to bed. She's 14. Okay, so first panel. Everyone wears hats, and the hats talk and plot. Let's draw the queen. I've been sitting here. So I picked this one off the top of the pile like a minute before opening things, like opening the stream, and then I'm like, what am I gonna do with hats? And then who wears hats? And it dawned on me like 2 minutes ago. Oh, the queen wore hats. Hey, easy thinking. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if this kid over here is worried about sharing the limelight there. I'm going to switch. I'm going to go to a green. I'm going to go to the opposite color of the primary color of the page, and because you should be able to see what we're diddly doing here on the page this way. So let's get right off the hop here. And can you see that? Is that hopefully that'll, as I make some more marks, it'll pop in instead of, there, you're going to see it after one line. So what the information is down on the page, as much as it gives a sort of step up on, hey, you've already got this amount of material or value of pigment on the paper. It really, I sort of go against the script in a way where it doesn't direct how I'm doing the page. The page is nothing to do with a deep sea diver, and the image of the deep sea diver is getting covered up immediately. So that's all fine and dandy, but in the opportunities that this color palette gives me, and and how I can pick and choose what parts of it that I'm pulling out of it. Just give me a sec to put down a couple more shapes in here in her eyes, and I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, what do you mean, Chris? Just give me a second. So, so we'll just come in and cut the shape of her eyes in, and let's get down to a Lizzie and a Chizzy with her fancy hat. I think that's an official British song, by the way. So I'm trying to get organized for Sunday for the event. We will be streaming. There will be a Zoom stream. I believe I'm waiting to hear back confirmation on that, but at the very least, it'll be going live on YouTube. So it'll be accessible for people. People can find it. Nobody puts Baby in a corner. Well, Baby does. Baby likes to sleep in the chair in the corner, but it's an open concept room, so it's kind of hard to find that corner for her. So, all right. So I've got the Queen's furrowed brow coming into the image here, and so what I'll do is that, let's see if I can get some of this out with the jelly. The jelly. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll come in. I got a yeller. I got myself a yeller. So is this guy gonna work? Are you gonna work? Are you gonna do your job? A little bit. Okay. So I'll start to pick out some of the information that I'm putting in here and start pulling it out with the paint pens. So ideally, you're gonna see her eye start appearing, and some of the shapes around her face here should be popping out And so it's similar to working where, and when you're painting, one way that painters approach a piece is that they start by sitting down with a brush and putting the major notes in a composition. And so what I mean by that is finding the shadows and finding the larger components in the piece. Whether they're going to draw on the composition with a brush or have it drawn on with some other mark making material like Conte, charcoal, whatever, pencil, it doesn't matter. But then when you start pulling in the shadows and the values and stuff like that, it's just a lot of sort of notch work. And many painters will continue that approach on through the entirety of the piece. That is one of the ways that I approach painting. So, okay, so hopefully you're starting to see her eyes pop out now. And then we'll keep going as we go. There's along the way. Aaron's laughing at me. I don't know what I did. Anyways. So in drawing Lizzie Windsor, Saxo-Gotha, anyways, by drawing her in with the green pen, we're going to keep adding some values onto that, but it's just sort of like an underlying color. It's fun. It's fun to define and build up the shapes in the face without having to. See ya. Well, he's going to lie in the other chair with her. Yep. They're cuties. So it's fun to pull these shapes out as you go. And it helps to get a strong sense of the composition just because you've sort of knuckled it in really lightly with the pen or whatever your mark making tool is. But then the exploration to find the values and the parts of the composition comes into paint. So I'll hold this up a little bit closer. So there we got her face starting to peek out of the background. Now the colors that are coming through, like the reds and the lighter yellow in the piece, is kind of fun because I don't want to lose those. That's why I'm not just painting the flat shape for the color of the face and moving forward. I'm allowing some of these values to peek through because it's a little more interesting that way. A little bit of variation in how you're drawing and how you're painting the face. Just because as those pop through, especially in here around the eyes. I mean, we wouldn't, when we're actually painting or drawing the image, in a static sense, we wouldn't specifically put those kinds of variated marks down in those areas. And so it just makes it something a little more ours. It's hard for the AI robots to replicate. Bring it on, robots. I got nothing. So just coming in with some of the basic blocks of shape in her face, and then now I did a piece with Nicolas Cage as the Queen a year ago, and somebody had asked me, am I making some sort of statement on the royals? And because we're Canadian, we're part of the Commonwealth, yada yada yada. Honestly, it's Nicolas Cage pretending to be the Queen. If I'm making a statement on anything, it's that Nicolas Cage is a lunatic. So I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. So, as per usual, if you've got stuff you're working on, feel free to let us know. Everybody's interested in finding out what's hip-hop happening out there in the artsy world. If you've got exhibitions or shows or just exciting projects that you want to chat about, feel free to share that. If you've got a one-page idea you want to share, feel free to do that in the chat. If you're watching this after the chat, feel free to do that in the comment section. You know what I found out? I found this out recently, and I keep forgetting to talk about it. If you dislike something, that's just as good as liking something on videos. Like if you thumbs down people's videos, it still counts as engagement. Is that? And I was thinking about that. Is that necessarily good? You know, I just like to go around on the interwebs and thumbs down everybody. No, no, no. Makes me feel validated and fulfilled. Makes me feel powerful. So here's the thing. Since I found that out, there's a number of instances where something will come across and it'll just come up in the feed when I'm trying to download something on Facebook that here's this video to look at. I never want to look at any of it. But, and I'll be like, I want to thumbs that down. I'm like, no, that's not nice. Every single time. So even after I tell you this stuff, I still, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be that guy. So now, if you take vigorous joy in thumbs downing people, know that you're helping them as well. So if that helps you feel a little more balanced in the karmatic view of the universe, there we go. We all did it together. So on Sunday, when I do the live drawing in a gallery, and I'm going to be just taking suggestions on the fly, where somebody suggests an idea, and that gets incorporated in the next person, and the next person, and the next person. So that's how I do it when I go and do it with schools and with kids. And I figured, hey, maybe the adults would like that too. So it'll be a slightly different approach. Now, I've considered doing that here in the stream as well. And so if anybody likes that notion or thinks that just taking a suggestion from somebody and going for it in whatever wacky, weird way along that I do is the thing that you might think more me, or I don't know, you just prefer that vibe, let me know that as well. Can't hurt. Okay, so here's our Liz Windsor. I'll hold this up again. So there she is. The one yellow's a little wet, so it's getting a little glary. But there's our queen coming through, and I'll beef her up a little bit more in just a second. Dee Dee's agreeing with me about stuff. Jim loves the color and layout. Oh, that's nice of you, Jim. And Paul tells me I'm nice. Paul. Thank you. I don't know what I did, but unless it's nice, one of those nices, I'll take it to. Yeah. So now we're just putting in her curly hair, and I'm not just going to leave just the yellow, right? We're going to have some fun with her, but I thought, why not open a page with the queen saying, we're here today to talk about hats. That's my Queen Elizabeth impression. You're very welcome. It's come to our attention. Yeah. Got to give her those pearl earrings. She likes pearl earrings. So it's an open kind of a vibe that I'm popping on here today. I'm tired of this. I get tired of doing my pages in the same uniform way. So today we're switching to vertical images. Vertigo images. Vertical. So our first one is of a completely loony Liz Windsor. Get that hair up there. Okay, so big bow, and then we'll get down to some coloring of this here panel. All right, let's start carving this out. So I got a couple of different yellows I'm going to throw in, and the big old white. So let's get down to it. Now she usually wears pink. Today she's wearing yellow whether she likes it or not. So the reason that I'm using my finger here is I'm putting yellow down, but I'm diffusing the yellow so that the texture of the background can still pop through. What are you doing that for, Chris? I don't know. Let's see if I can shake this guy up some more. And if he doesn't work, I got a new one. So work or get replaced, Buccarino. Okay, so yeah, I think your day is done. Like that. Another white as well. Here. Ooh, lovely. So now we can come in and pull out some of these little fine lines. And I'll hold this up. There we go. Look at it. It's in focus. What is happening? Okay, so I'm putting it down sparingly, and I'm working some of these values in so that we can control how we're defining the lines in her face. But I want to give her age and the sort of expression of dignity that she has its own merit. But at the same time, I don't want to just make the lady's face all craggy lines, right? So anyhow, my drawing the queen is no statement on the royals. It's just she's a prominent figure who's known for wearing her hats. Do you know that here's a little hot goss? Oh yeah. In London, Ontario, Canada, in the 1970s, we had our first female mayor, and one of the first female mayors, by the way, in southwestern Ontario, and Miss Jane Bigelow. And there was a scandal because I can't remember what it was, if it was gloves or a hat, but she didn't feel like wearing one of those, and it was scandalous. How dare she meet the Queen without wearing, the hat and gloves? Boy, the world's changed a little, huh? Okay, so she has a tightness in her around her mouth that I'm trying to catch a hold of here. Without it being a whole thing. Now I could use other methods of putting this white down, and it seems a little counterintuitive to use a Posca pen this way. Put the solid value down and take it away, but it's not the tool. It's how we use her. So here's her face coming through. And then some of these elements. Her ribbons and her hat. She's got ribbons in her hat. And I just thought it'd be a fun first panel of the Queen. To introduce us to the hat conspiracy. And of course, her hats would be in charge. I'm just saying. Okay, so I've got a couple of reds. Who are you? Who are you? Here we go. So I'll utilize those in here as well. Just put in some emphasis points and just kind of having fun with the composition. I think it looks like her. All right, coming together. Make sure I'm not missing anything in the conversation. Is there any big plans that anybody has this week or going into the weekend? Curious to find those out. So I've got to figure out where I put my ruler. Hello, ruler. Oh, we found it. Okay. Just give me a second. I'm just going to put a line across here. Just sort of giving myself a cutoff point for where I'm going with this panel. So this is a post guy. I like this red. I like this red better than that other guy. He knows what to do. My first exposure to paint markers was in Sarnia, Ontario, right there by the American border. I went to this bookstore and they had little art supplies in the corner, which good bookstores do, by the way. Okay, so I found these paint markers, and they're fine point. Let's see if I can find it. They're fine point. Like, look at these suckers. Fine point little things. Gorgeous. Anyways, so I picked those up and used the guts right out of them. And then I was on the search, and then a certain pal who's in the stream room with us today, she said, "Get some Posca pens." She didn't say dummy. And I did, and look what she's done. Look what she started. Okay. What do we got? Oh, hey, me and Mrs. P are celebrating 15 years of wedded bliss this weekend. Congratulations, guys. That's awesome. We recently did our 10th. And while it was fairly low-key, as anniversaries go, just because we're really busy and the kids are all, adult, etc. We just couldn't believe, A, holy cow, we've been married 10 years already, and B, it's only been 10 years, which can sound like I'm being negative there, and I'm not. I just mean in our life as a couple, we have covered a lot of ground. And I'm really a lucky man. And Paul, you're a lucky man. So ladies, you have to put up with us. Congratulations, Paul says to you. I don't blame her. It's really great, Paul. 50 years. It's older than me. I usually tell people this because there's still a part of me that can't get over it. My grandparents were married for 72 years before my grandma passed, and then my grandpa passed soon after. But 72 years. Oh, that line right there. All right. Oops, I threw the pen away. Yeah, that's pretty fantastic, Paul. Do you guys have any big fancy plans for your anniversary? Are you going to do something nice at least? A few minutes? You take her to a monster truck pull. Yeah, and as they say in France, but of cars. So back into these old colors. So I've got this second yellow. The primary yellow that I put down in her face is this one. But I've got this second yellow that I'm cutting in now. So I've got these highlight points in her face with the white, and now I'm coming in with this lighter yellow than the base value, and working it as an intermediate value so that I can get some softer blends and softer shapes inside of her face here. So. A 1,000 years from now, no one's going to look for my fingerprints in these pieces. It's paper. It's 1,000 years. Come on. It'll be called historically the Runciman dirty finger technique. Thanks. I really like my wife. Oh, Jim said congratulations as well. Congratulations. Thanks. I really like my wife. I'm not sure why she sticks around, but I'm grateful for it every day. It's the hats. There you go. Fancy dinner than pro wrestling. Really? You're taking your wife to? Is she a big pro wrestling fan? That's fun. It's nice to have a good old pro wrestling fan in the house, or is it she's doing it for you? What'd you do for your anniversary? Well, we went to a lovely, elegant restaurant and then watched people beat up each other sweatily. Sweatily? Is that a word? It's a word now. Okay, hold it up just a second. I got more of her face popping through now, so she might be a little more recognizable as Lizzie. Here we are. So this is using these Posca and other types of paint markers that we're putting these details in. He's only kidding about the pro wrestling, though she's a rabid Detroit Lions fan. I love Lions too. Do you have to go to the zoo for that? Don't answer that. I'm being silly. I know who the Detroit Lions are. Cricket team. Fencing? Badminton. Pickleball. That's the hot trend with other kids these days. Oft times you'll hear in the school grounds, hey, What say you, Ricardo? Shall we play some pickleball this weekend? Don't get too drunk. You might get the old Runtsman dirty finger. Okay, a little too soon. You, stop it. Kids, behave yourselves. Behave yourselves. Don't make me chase you. So now I can come in with some of these fine lines and shapes and add a little something to the hair. I've only got a primary range for Posca paints. Paint pens. I've got a blue, I've got a yellow, I've got a red, a white, a black, and excitedly, I've recently purchased a green. But, you know, there's times where I look at it and go, you know, it'd be nice if I picked up more colors. What am I doing? But these things are prohibitively expensive. At least for me. I know that I'm just a really overly reserved person about buying supplies. Laura's very supportive of it, but you know, still got to rein it in. I got lots of different things I can use here. Paul says that's an awesome drawing on the gel print. Oh, thanks, Paul. And then Jim says, fantastic. Thanks, Jim. It's nice of you guys. Okay, so I'm going to have to go over this again. But I left a spot for her pearls. She likes to wear pearl earrings, and here's, oops, I better put that in before I forget. Pearl earrings and pearl necklaces. So I may well have to go over these again in a few moments, but just getting those little bits of information in there, the bits and the bobs. Yeah, the queen would be a fun subject for most things. A fun example or character for most subjects. And, you know, like, hey, this page is about tattoos. Well, let's use the queen, you know. Lots of fingerprints on this piece. Love the pearls. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, she's got her vibe going, that's for sure. I don't know. There's a part of me that's debating. Let's do it. Let's give this woman a little bit of color. So the nice thing about some of these less expensive paint markers is that because their ink or because their level of paint that's inside of them is less than things like a Posca, it allows you to apply them a little more translucently. And I kind of like that because it makes it quicker to be able to blend them in, you know. I put Liz's lips in here too, before I forget. Still letting some of those background values peek in. You can see what I mean by translucent. You see how lightly that comes in? I'll give that a second to dry. Chris and everyone, just curious, how do you feel about using cuss words, adult language in your projects? I always steered clear, but the new project has some. No, I don't. And the reason I don't is that so here's a fun thing. Some of the things that I really enjoyed when I was young that I was able to read with my kids, and now that we've been able to read with our grandkids, is they don't have any cuss words. And depending on the subject matter, depending on the tone of a piece, I mean, but in it by its story note, like if it's an adult situation, if it's an adult story, if it's scenes, scenarios, and characters that really aren't aimed towards children, you can put swear words in them because you don't really want to show them to kids for some of these themes and stuff, anyways. But if they don't, if that isn't a factor, and if it's something that's approachable for all demographics, then leave it open to all demographics and rein it in. That's the challenge. I think honestly, in my head, that's the division point. There's no part of that says one way's good and one way's bad. Each have their own merits in their own regard, right? So if you're going to have cuss words and stuff, cuss words, I like that, by the way. If you're going to have effing and a jeffing, then if it suits the piece, it suits the piece. But be sure to recognize that that's your audience is that specific audience. Whereas, you can introduce more depth and more resonance in a story without the necessity of falling back on using overt adult language and visualizations. And some prime examples of that would be Coraline. Coraline would be a great example of that. There's some seriously adult concepts in there, and yet it's done for all ages, right? I mean, that's a really, there's so much at play in there that, and it has so much of a dark, deep, wicked nuance to it. But it's the kind of thing that you can watch with younger people. Maybe not a 5-year-old, but you know what I mean. A guy at work said bits and bobs the other day, and Paul had his own private laugh. Did you explain it to the guy? Is that did Paul Pate just laugh at me? Miriam says, I don't use them, but I don't have anything against them. Anyway, if I do it in Spanish, you wouldn't understand. Yeah, but Spanish people will. The only French words I know are swear words. Anyways, it's not true. I like them, Jim, but I don't think I use them well, so I should use them sparingly. There's a fantastic use of language that certain comedians can apply, that when it is used, it has massive punch and impact. And you'll see examples of this in their larger works. Like Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor and his stand-ups would use expletives and just bandy them about. But Richard Pryor in films, when he says a cuss word, it's a point. Like it's impressive to see. There's one movie called Moving, where is a really nice guy, really laid back, a really cool man. But at a certain point of taking abuse and being ripped off, he loses his temper, and it's this whole thing about saying the F of the F and then a Jeffin. And he uses the wrong finger. It turns into this whole thing about expletives. And I respect that. But then you got guys like John Mulaney, Brian Regan, a lot of these, Jerry Seinfeld, a lot of these comedians that play clean and don't swear at all. And I'm impressed by that. I'm always impressed by that because there's probably a temptation in that world to use that. But if you're using it, have it mean something. Have it be a point of action. You got a guy who swears all the time, that's that guy. But if your entire cast swears all the time, where's the resonance? I especially like Spanish cuss words, Paul says for Miriam. Grandkids grow and maybe they will not understand them either. Well, there you go. Paul, then no bad words in any language. Wait, you know Hebrew words? There we go. You could use some good, German swear words are the shortest words they have in your vocabulary. I think that there's a lot to be said for characters that, whereas everybody around them is this guy and that guy, yo, what's up, yo, language. And you can say so much about a character by them looking at somebody else and saying an incredibly menacing and horrible thing to them without all of that slang vernacular. So again, it's how it's used, right? So I'm coming back in with this, putting some shadows in with that other orange. Yellow. I'm sorry, it's a yellow. It's a mellow yellow. Just butter it. Anyways, so back to do a couple more lights. Does Latin have curse words? Latin has curse terms. They don't have curse words per se, although the belief is that the F word goes back to Latin. So, fun examples of swearing is Shakespeare. There's some fantastic examples of swearing in Shakespeare and cursing of people in Shakespearean plays. Like one of my favorite scenes in a Shakespearean drama is, I bite my thumb at you, sir. You dare to bite your thumb at me? Because as somebody is flipping him the bird. But it's considered such a vulgar act in public that it starts a whole fight, a whole situation, and a big old problem for some young star-crossed lovers. But I think we've lost a lot of the sort of elegant, fluid prose that people used to curse and swear at each other with. Now, Jim says that Pig Latin has curse words. I knew two young ladies when I was in grade school that could speak so quickly and so fluently in Pig Latin. It was almost like they rewritten their brains to be able to adopt this additional language for their own usage, which is possible, right? I mean, we learn sign language and things like that, but here's a funny thing that my wife's family does is that most specifically, one of my wife's sisters, she gets caught doing it more than anybody else. My brother-in-law is blind and deaf, and so when somebody's called blind, it doesn't mean they're completely without vision. And Super John, for those that know him here in the stream, and we'll be having him on again soon. Super John is still got some of his vision, but it's very challenged, his vision, right? But her whole family will speak to John in sign language as they're talking to him. And what's funny is when John's not there, and they'll look at each other and speak in sign language as they're talking to each other, and they'll sign things. And it's like, why are we signing each other? Saw it a few times lately. Really cute. Okay, so we're putting in some of the furrowed brow, and I think that might just about be enough. Mark making an or Lizzie face here and there. Oh, I have to purse lips. Thanks for reminding me, guys. That was good. There we go. I think that's better. What's Paul saying? I taught my oldest son sign language. sign language before he could talk. It was a pretty cool experience. I am a really bad sign language person. I really am. John has zero interest in me trying to do sign with him because I'm so bad at it that he just looks at Maria and like, what is he trying to say to me? But I try. I'm trying. So. Good for you, though, Paul. That's impressive. Does he still speak sign language, Paul? Okay, I think we got the queen done. Oh, Parvus Paul, how many kids do you have? Did you say John is blind and deaf? It's going to be a challenge. Yeah, he's deafblind. He lives at a place in Paris. I always tease my in-laws that their family's so fancy. One of their kids moved out to London, and the other one went to Paris. You know, Paris, Ontario, London, Ontario, but it counts. So I'm coming in here with this green. It's a really light green to push space around a little bit. Now, I don't know about you, but I like this. I like this a lot. The little texture bits that you get from layers and layers of material down. Let's clean up those pearls. I knew I would. Almost there. What do we got? Pixie says, I was saying with my granddaughter, it's so cute when she does a sign. Excellent. She's 12 months old and uses several signs already. Oh, that's great. Paul has 5 kids. My son and I only learned about 20 words, but that's a lot for an infant. Sure is. It's a lot for some adults. That is a lot. Miriam has 5 kids too. So do we. It's the infant. No, it's not. It's just, I had 3, she had 2. Nice, Cora. That's a great way to communicate. Miriam has 3 grandkids. I have 6. Ugh. We have 6. Okay, so just going to come in here and put our outfit in, and then we're off to the next panel. Well, I guess there's a couple of more things. Finishing those pearls off again. All right, there's our former queen. Okay, next. Pixie says that her granddaughter studies her hands every time she talks to her. Oh, that's impressive. That's impressive. Then she'll be able to be on the lookout for when other people are signing. She'll just know immediately that that's a potentiality. That's pretty great, Cora. Okay, so here's our first panel of Liz. Windsor. Using my fingerprints, I've tried to give this little pattern to her clothes. How well that's come across, I don't know, but I tried. Okay. Panel 1 done. I have 15 grandkids. You win. Oh my gosh, 15. That's a lot. I was 20 of 21 from my grandparents. The time my son was trying to sign to his infant cousin when I went for the wall. Oh, that's fantastic. 15, says Paul, dramatically. Okay, so let's do, well, let's just go for it. Let's do somebody else. Let's do a couple other examples of hats. And I'll set myself a space into which I'll do them. And we'll run one image right up beside the next. I don't need to do the outside line on that. No, it's there. Okay, so I got space for it. No, just run that to the outside. Okay, good. Good. All right, team. What are we at? Around an hour and 10 minutes. Let's just keep having some fun, shall we? My daughter has 10. Wow. That's my oldest has 6. So, and the other kids are all letting her take care of the grandkid department and aren't in any rush to add more. Yeah, Jamie and Rob have 6 kids together. They're in their 30s. Okay, so let's do some more silly hats. And let's I don't know, let's go. Let's do one of let's do some silly hats. So I'm drawing in another set of eyes here that are attached, of course, to the rest of the face. And we'll do the same thing where we'll pull her facial features out from the background. And in that way, we can play with our narration through this expression. But what I'm thinking of here is, how do I utilize the color that's in the background? By gum, I got me some ideas. Oh no, I got it buried. Hold on. That's good there. I thought it was going to fall over. Okay, and I'll put that there. I got this book. If you get an opportunity, folks, try to find yourself a book like this. Now, I'm not using this today, but you can see a lot of these little faces. I've really yet to crack the book open and utilize the interior of the book, because I've been pulling so many faces off just the cover alone. But there's a lot to be said for being able to have different expressions on people. So we're going to play with that. People ask me if I don't have to, because of the amount of kids. I answer, no, you're going to have a radio. Television. I'm lost. I'm doing the faces and taking pics. See, that's a benefit to you as well, is or put the pose for things. There is a great deal of different artists that have all acted out the characters that they're illustrating. Frank Bellamy is a British, I think it's Frank Bellamy that I'm thinking of, is a British artist and sequential storyteller who did a book called Dan Dare. And he would have himself and different people in his studio act out these characters. They would make fake props, like fake little ray guns, or they would put together some shapes to to represent, like, the different spaceships and UFOs and things they're getting on and off in these adventures that he would do in the 1950s and 60s in Britain. But there's this wealth of photos of his entire staff mugging it up in all these fantastic and ridiculous poses. And it's what's such a gift about that is that so many other people get to utilize those now since. But he was it was almost like he was the first person to really expose that that it was exposed on such a large level. So hats off to Frank Bellamy. See, I tried to shake it up yesterday, and I wore a different hat, Paul. And I don't think anybody picked up on my fine chapeau choice yesterday. Don't really blame him. It was a crazy hat. I don't want to point it out, but Chris has got a hat on. It's not his normal hat. Okay, so let's just pull her out of the background. There's a dramatic pause in that sentence. Phooey! Sounds like a 1970s Kung Fu show. So let me so you can see her coming through there now. We've got our, what am I going to do? I want to put some, emphasis points in with Lizzie. That's better. Her mouth was really bugging me. So this is the kind of page that I find goes really quickly, because when I'm working mixed media and I'm just throwing shapes and marks down, I find that there's a lot less thinking involved, because you think along all the different tracks at the same time. When you're applying down your line, you know that this part will be filled in with color, and you know this and that. Whereas there's such a stunted process when you've got to switch disciplines. Like, here's your penciling period, here's your inking period, here's your coloring period. Whereas when you're working mixed media, you're just generally doing all three at once. So there's something to be said for that. Itchy nose, that's what I just had, an itchy nose. No one knows except you, well now you know about my itchy nose. Oh no. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I'm doing singing while I'm working. Oh, I'm just going to leave that up, Miriam. I'm doing the faces and making pics and taking pics. That could be some awkward evidence you leave behind, Miriam. Tons of photos of you going. I just want to bring some of the red in through the body, just to sort of continue the composition here and the connections that it has to its own background, its own base value. Okay, so we've got the next young lady. I think we'll get her finished before we wrap up the day at the very least. So tomorrow I'll be doing a suggestion from the Book of Tricks, the book. And if there's anybody that's given a suggestion, you're like, I really hope you do that one. Or, you know, just because you think I might have forgot, or it might have got buried in the shuffle, feel free to let me know. Because, you know, I want to make sure that everybody's having fun. You know, I don't expect I gotta wait 6 weeks before I see the darn thing I asked them to draw. Well, I don't want you to feel like that. So, okay, so she's wearing a cheese hat. It's a hat made out of cheese. How's that for a hat? Oh my goodness. We'll give her a sash. So hopefully you're able to see. I'll pull that up. It's I have a collection for my thumbnails and drawings. The more ridiculous, the better. There you go. Okay, so here is our next face we're gonna do. That is a young lady wearing a cheese hat, as one will do. You could put a couple of fingers up here and some bunching of the fabric on her shoulder here so that she's holding her hat. I don't know that anybody will notice it, but I know it's there. All right. Yep. Yep. All right. We're going. Yep. All right. Okay. Over there. And in this case, I'm going to apply a layer so that, well, you'll be able to see through it because it's not entirely opaque. It is going to leave some values peeking through, but at least it's going to be consistent, somewhat consistent. And let's put some holes in this sucker. I'll highlight those in a moment. Where are we at? Blue cheese or Emmental? Emmental. I'm a guy who knows cheddar cheese and mozzarella, or as we call it, orange cheese and white cheese. I've got friends that have great fascination for different types of cheeses. I couldn't tell you the difference between them in a lineup. Although what people are lining cheese up for like that, I don't know. Maybe they did something, or they're guilty of something. Oh, there's a good storm outside. My window was shaking. It's not just because of the cheese hat. It's how intense is this green? It's intense. Ooh, that's pretty. It's almost like a phthalo green. A phthalocyanine green. Again, I'm trying to blend it so we can get some of this interesting pieces of information from the back to still stick through. So. Oh, I got some on her face. Don't worry, man. We'll clean that up. Maybe I didn't. No, I didn't. Woohoo! Let's put some on. Oh, I did. You know, it's so exciting. I've done this. So it almost becomes like, well, why do I even bother using the jelly plated paper? And I'll show you the opportunities that it affords you. So here's your straight jelly plated paper with not entirely successful, images to be transferred. And but as a background, as a base for other images to go over top, you get all kinds of fun business like what's going on right in here. And I'll bring it up closer. Look at that fun and exciting business. And that's like there's specific pieces like of information that you get like this coming through, or look at some of the values you get in and around the eyes here, right? Like there's just, especially these little bits like there in the corner. And then here as well with like, look at that big punch of red in there, or up in here around the flower. Like that's the sort of stuff. And then, it doesn't matter. We draw our image right over top of it as though it's a flat standard value or standard color on the surface, maybe even just a white one. But that's where it becomes fun. That's where it sort of takes off. And for us to explore, different approaches to putting down whatever the story is that we're telling on top. And the rest of this complexity just becomes part of the image. So you can take those failed jelly plate prints or even successful jelly plate prints, go right over top of them. Remember, this was a scuba diver, and there's the round of the scuba diver mask still deep, and then there's deep sea diver written across here still, but pretty much gone now. So, again, feel free to experiment and play around and have some fun. I'm enjoying this one. The suggestion for today's page is everyone wears hats, and the hats talk and plot. So this is, we get to have all these people in different walks of life where there are different styles of hats. They're plotting to overthrow the world. Da, 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 da. Well, maybe mind control people through their hats. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. That's the fun part of the exploration of the story. By the way, today's been fun. I hope that, engaging with how I'm approaching this page is of benefit for folks. I really wanted to say at the start of this stream how much I appreciate the involvement and engagement with others that I've had here online, and I really appreciate it and look forward to lots more with everybody. But I wanted to just come at today's page with it's just sort of a free, sort of a carefree approach to just putting it down and knocking the page together, and let's tell the story and find the story along the way. But it's a fun suggestion of everyone wears hats and the hats talk and plot, because the people become less and less important. It just becomes more and more about the hats. So we'll explore that a little bit. Oh, hi, Dan. I'm sorry I missed you popping in. Pixie says, I've got to run, but I'll visit again. Please do, Pixie. We really enjoyed your company today, and thanks again for joining us. And Dan as well. But unfortunately, I'm going to sign off today too, because I've got to finish some of the things that I was working on this morning, which is, that's the stuff I do that's got to make me able to do the other stuff. So thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out. Thank you very much for all the engagement. Thank you again for sharing your own creative journeys and your own creative abilities, and for everybody showing each other different things that they do, and empowering other people on their creative journey by being exposed to the different styles, approaches, tools that others are utilizing. So in the meantime, I'll be back tomorrow. This will be posted in the morning. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. EST for Too Much Trouble Thursdays. I don't know. I don't have a fun name for Thursdays yet. Thanks very much, everybody. I appreciate y'all coming. Well, everybody's saying thank you and goodbye. Oh, thank you very much, everybody, and thank you very much for coming on out. And make sure to keep on working and stuff. You got a suggestion, feel free to lay it on me. And you got something you want to tell everybody about, feel free to do so. In the meantime, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.